Huawei Digital Nepal Conclave 2022 in association with InfoDevelopers Connected by Ncell.
Namaste. Thank you everyone for having me here to speak about digital transformation. The previous speaker have mentioned something really realistic about digital transformation, about the successful digital transformation. I think we are going to touch on some of these key points, how we make a digital transformation successful. So I think I will just very quickly run into it. In the 1990s in Singapore, when basically internet becomes popular, many departments, they all want to basically have an internet presence. So they were requesting for budget to build all kind of technology so that they can be on the internet. They were all denied because the government sector or the government department that received it thinks that this is basically not the good idea, because number one, security threat, you do not have the resources to run, right? The infrastructure that creates loopholes and problems for the organization. Number two, a waste of resources, in the sense that if we are not going to be able to basically put optimum usage of the resources, all right, then it's going to be a huge wastage for the government, especially you are talking about so many departments, right? And finally, this whole thing, the most important aspect is that digital transformation basically is not user-centric. So when I talk about digital transformation, it is not just about technology. It has to transcend into how user feel or how user experience in this whole transformation. Let me basically go into one example here of not being user-centric. For example, you need to apply for a license. Let's say the person here, David, he's a very good cook. He wants to open a restaurant. The requirement here is for him to be doing license application through many departments, right? It can be Interior Ministry, the basically food industry. So there are many departments that he has to go through. So this technically will tell you that David is a very unwilling customer, because when he goes and do all this registration, it's just a means to open the restaurant so that he can do business, right? There is some innovations that is happening in the industry. So we are talking about public service infrastructure. So when we build public service infrastructure, that solves some of the problem, in the sense that David now do not have to go to multiple departments. He just go to one place. He will probably be able to do all this registration. That is good, right? He's happy. But if you look at this, he's happy, but he still go back to original. He's unwilling, right? Why do I need to basically do so many registration and basically just because I want to open a restaurant, right? So that creates basically the interim solution not sufficient to make a user happy. So what we are talking about here, about this infrastructure, is basically just digitization going online, right? But to make a willing and happy customer, we have to transcend that and move into what we call a redefinition of the project that you are trying to do, right? So let me give you another example here. It's regarding basically the gatekeeper for trade facility. For example, you want to buy something, right? Or you are a vendor, a small company, you want to sell something. When you basically want to send the purchase to a buyer, all right, you have to transcend through multiple, right? So each of these companies, like freight forwarder, transportation company, port operators, they all collect information. The problem here is that they collect information in silo. The information is not shared across the multiple departments, and therefore it creates a situation where the basically users are being unwilling, right? Even if you have a single window, right? So we have some projects to do single window, right? That transcends all these different departments into one application process. That is still basically a same problem, right? The customer is happier, but is still unwilling. So what we need to do here, all right? So I think, to make a willing and happy customer, we need to go beyond, all right? To make an empowerment and enabling platform for the users to be able to first transact And within the platform itself, you need to expand into other capability. To give you an example, right? We all know that one of the business in basically probably India, right? There are a lot of farmers. So before a farmer can actually go and plant, right, what their crops is, they will have to basically register with the government, right? So what the government do here, they want to collect this information so that they know that they are not growing one kind of crops, all right, too overly. So they want to balance the whole situation. They collect the information. When they have all this information, what they do is they actually, help all these farmers to negotiate a better price with the supplier. All right. So with that simple exercise of getting the information, learning what is going to be help all these farmer who is registering, you now have basically willing customer to come and register, right? They are basically business. And beyond that, if you can look at this single platform, it can be connected to other, right, information system. For example, these farmers itself, they may need some form of financing, microfinancing when they do farming. We can bring those, financing company together to help the farmer. There are many other examples that I'm not going to basically go into, but I think I mentioned the point. So this is basically a very popular, what we call the roadmap created by United Nations. So we call the United Nations 5 stages of e-government. So basically, I would want to add the 6th one, right, where I'm talking about making unwilling customer willing. All right. So for that itself, I think this is where I think Singapore is actually doing some steps into to create that atmosphere. Why am I basically saying that? Is basically from this e-government development index, all right, that is published in 2020, all right, showing the different development in terms of the digital government initiatives. All right. You can see from some of the index figurings here, Nepal is 0.47. All right, and there are many other countries, so they are considered a developing, all right, nation. So with that, what Singapore, all right, I think what the government can do here is basically to create this entire infrastructure that I have mentioned, how to get customer to be a willing customer, all right, as an infrastructure. So you can basically build something here and create, services to help them to use, right, data better. And in Singapore itself, 2020, we created Singaportal electronics ID, so everybody with just one single ID can, transcend with multiple departments. So that is just a very high-level, simple examples that we can talk about satisfying the unwilling customer. So finally, I think we are talking about digitization, digitalization, digital transformation process, right, making unwilling customer to be willing. There's another step going forward will be to add some intelligence, right? So in the future, I think we will have to find ways to really make services more accessible and better for our users. So one of the solutions that we probably look at here to help this whole scenario is the intelligent twin. So what we have vision the intelligent twin as a complete solution from managing device to connectivity to the data center hub, all right, and all the way to intelligent application will be the important aspect for us to bring this to the next stage. All right. So let's first look at the infrastructure development perspective. All right. We will look at the first and foremost, if a government build, right, this kind of like a universal service, they will be able to gain a lot of basically benefits from offering these services. All right. Unlock the value of 5G to accelerate digitalization. This is about connectivity. So you have to have the connectivity in place, right, for everything to be enabled. All right, and then we talk about the single national data center, especially when we talk about nations where the data sovereignty is an important aspect. Building a national data center will be also very key things for us to do. So I'm making all these suggestions based on what I'm looking at in the reports, right? And I believe this is one of good recommendation suggestions that I can have for the people of Nepal. Right. So finally, when we create this data center platform itself, it will be the base platform for you to go beyond. All right. So create an additional innovation, create additional value. Right. So when I say that, I'm talking about the top level where I will add additional intelligent application. I'm just going to give you a very quick demo about our basically digital twin that we have created. So without further ado, let me just run the video for everyone. Thank you. Oops. Video. So this is basically about 3D modeling of the entire Singapore. We are adding, additional objects like, planes, right, which are basically, stitched into the whole picture. Right, so beyond that, you can even look up of the land island into the sea. And when you have this type of modeling, this kind of 3D modeling, you can do a lot of simulation, emulation. You can look at some of these things that we try to simulate. So this is the city center in Singapore, right? Shenton Way, and then we are going to create a weather condition. So thunderstorm, just by clicking on the capabilities. Finally, simulation of heavy rain and flooding of the country. So with that, I think just like to basically show some value for us to go into digitization. It not only help you in the country in jobs creation, in terms of the public safety. You also improve many aspects of your life like healthcare and education. All right. So with that, basically, I just want to mention that Huawei have helped many countries to develop smart city solution. And with that, that is all I have to share today. Thank you for your attention.